Judge Mathis, Judge Faith, Judge Joe Brown. My name is Shirley Wade, and with every arrest, I've had 10 unlawful arrests, and with every arrest I've had, Vakeen Jordan Mitchell has her name announced in a jail cell, um, just to say that she's done this to me. And an officer at Miami-Dade Correction Jail told me that I was in jail because of a housing program. This all started when I lived in Atlanta when my son was 6 years old. My son is 12 now. We were sitting in front of our house with Miss Vakeen Jordan Mitchell. And I told her I don't really like living here because I'm from St. Louis, Missouri originally. And I told her I really don't like living here because I didn't realize there were so many gay people here. And I'm a Christian. I've been saved since I was 7, in ministry since I was 17, with a powerful abstinence ministry. And I said, my son, I want him. I'm raising him to be a man of God, and I want him to know the mannerisms of a man, and I want to raise a strong man, a man with godly principles. And Vakeen said right in front of my son, she said, "You're going to be just like my sister who went from state to state, and her son was molested like it's a big FUCKN deal." And she said this right in front of my child, and I said, "Please don't talk like that in front of my son." And I said, "Where I'm from, it is a big deal." And from there on, I was treated. I got a lot of ill treatment from her. But instead of apologizing, she offered to help us with housing. She took me from my apartment that I got on my own, and moved me out in a Hispanic neighborhood that was a highly trafficking Hispanic neighborhood. And my son, I took him to the daycare at the kinder care down the street on Buford Highway in Atlanta, Georgia. And there was a man that, he had a male teacher, which I had a problem with that. But I had to find work. And so Vakeen basically got belligerent with me because my son came home and told me that the male teacher was pulling out his penis and telling the kids that he could make glue come out of it. And, Mommy, he made glue come out of his wee-wee. And so my son, I was just livid. And I went up and, of course, confronted the daycare. And when I told Vakeen Jordan Mitchell about it, she cussed me and my son out. And she said, Titus need to stop talking so damn much. And she said, anyway, in Atlanta, everybody has a gay uncle. And she told us that he was sick. And your mother, they can put you, your mother could go to jail. They can just say that she's having a mental illness. They can lie and say she's having a mental illness, and they can put you in the system and put your mother in jail. From that point on, I moved to Dallas, Texas, away from Atlanta because I had just had enough. And I had a play. I was in a play at the Potter's House called This Christmas. Again, my son was 6 years old at the time. And right after the play, my child was just like she said. I began to go to jail for no reason at all. I was arrested after the play. After for no reason at all. My son was put in the system for no reason at all. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Never been an alcoholic. Never been a drug addict. Like I said, I'm saved since I was 7, in ministry since I was 17. A saved church girl. Named my son Titus, and he was put in the system. And they were saying, just like what she said, that they would say that I would have a mental problem. There was nothing wrong with me. There was nothing wrong with my son also. He had no bruises on him at all. Although in the system he got bruised, and he had it was an unlawful placement. But from that point on, I had to fight to get him out of the system. He had monsters for caseworkers that was trying to give him back to a family that that I had got him away from, that have tried to molest him before. And I'm a former student of Oral Roberts University. I've had near-death experiences with this because I was at Flo Valley Community College, and I was trying to explain to the counselors there that I had been arrested so many times, and I needed help. And as I was talking to the counselors, there was a police off to the side on the podium, black policeman. Next thing I know, two white police officers came up to the campus and started handcuffing me, told me I was trespassing. Each time I was arrested, I was told I was trespassing, and not to come back to this campus anymore, or not to come back to this church anymore, this place, wherever they would arrest me at, which would normally be at churches or campuses, because that's just who I am. You know, I'm a church girl, and adamant about finishing colleges. Well, they took me over to, I'm a graduate from Miami-Dade College. I have a degree in culinary arts, and they also told me that I could not come back to that campus anymore, or I'll be arrested for trespassing right after I graduated. But back to Flo Valley, when they handcuffed me at Flo Valley, they held me, and they not only held me in the air and humiliated me in front of the whole school, they put me in the ambulance. When I got to the hospital, about seven officers surrounded me, and I was operated on for no reason. When I woke up, there was a hole in my throat, and they told me that I had died during the operation. They had to resuscitate me. So I've had near-death experience with this. Also at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri, I came back home to get help for my son, to get a lawyer. Just sitting in the waiting room, about 12 police officers pulled me in, and they handcuffed me to a bed from my legs down to from my arms down to my legs. There were handcuffs on the bed while I was still in restraints. About 12 police officers, all black police officers, took turns choking me and sticking their thumb in my neck. When I woke up, I was in a different room. And this has happened countless times, and I'm sick of it, and I'm just ready for justice. I'm ready for legal aid I've gotten to run around with. I had just spoken with a lawyer I'm not going to say, but I really need help. Judge Mathis, Judge Faith, Judge Joe Brown. I wrote a play called Cuffs to raise awareness because they have the news tied up. I don't know if they're getting with gay people with the news, but every time I call the news, they tell me that they cannot do my story. So I wrote a play called Cuffs years ago for someone else that was unlawfully arrested. But I never thought that I would have to do it for me. A church girl, a saved girl, I'm adamant about finishing school because I still want to finish school. And so, with that said, I went back to Oral Roberts University on December the 6th of 2018. And not only did they arrest me on campus, told me that I was trespassing, but they took me in the back of the jail under the undercar parking garage, and they tried to put me in a blue dumpster. And then I just screamed and I just cried out to God. I was speaking in tongues and everything, and they told me, "You're not. We're not trying to put you in the dumpster. We're trying to put you in a cell next to the dumpster." And they was taking me like in the corner, in right in front of the dumpster. There was like this secluded place